Start streaming, start recording, yep.
You should see that, our picture come up in that other one here shortly.
Okay, it says there's 30 gigabytes of disk space available.
And I told him, I said, hopefully it's not the number. Okay?
Yep. Yeah, it looks like the other thing that came up.
Huh?
I say the other one came up.
Yep. Okay, at 4:07 on April 4th, 2022, I'd like to call the town board meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Somebody's phone just rang?
Yeah, somebody's phone was making noise.
Let's turn this thing off.
Nothing, no motion to pay bills, and no town board meeting minutes. Privilege of the floor, we don't have anybody here. We'll go right to number one, hazardous material survey.
Is Sean on a phone somewhere?
Yeah.
I thought that was him calling.
Do you wanna leave your phone open for public comment, Brian?
Sure. Yeah.
Ron, we might have better luck with your phone, cause my phone on speaker case muffles the person.
Okay. I couldn't hear Ron real well, but I can't hear him well
I'll stick it
anyway.
right in front of you.
Maybe that's not me, or that's not his phone.
Then you definitely have trouble hearing mine. The rubber case around it, it muffles the speaker horribly.
Yeah.
It's better at 4 o'clock.
Hello.
Hey there, how you doing?
Yeah, myself.
Not too bad.
Okay, you're on speakerphone, and we just, opened the meeting and did the pledge. And we're gonna go to number one, the hazardous material survey. I met with Rick Tagg on Friday with all these documents, that we have here. There was 2 bids on the hazardous material, and they were from C2G, which is the new company in town that has been here to see us and introduce themselves, and actually was at a town board meeting. And the other one is Atlantic Testing Laboratories. We have the 2 prices in front of us for the hazmat survey, and the one from C2G is for $2,120, and the one from Atlantic Testing Laboratories is for $4,239. Rick spent some time going through these with me. I felt that they were pretty equal in what was here, and he recommended that we go with C2G.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we go with G2G.
Motion by Ron,
I'll second it.
second by Gene. Any discussion?
No?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none.
Okay.
So that's C2G. Am I saying that right? G2G.
G, green to green.
G. Okay, the next one is geotechnical exploration recommendations. I went through the documents with Rick. Everybody is going 10 feet down with their borings, and everybody is doing 4 borings.
Now, this is the boring for the building extension?
Yes.
Okay.
To tell us.
Yep. We gotta send, Jamie and Jay are going up there this week to do some clearing. There's some trees that are where they have to do this. We got some large weeds that are turned into trees that have grown up there, so we're gonna clear that out of there. They said they can clear it out of there, no big deal. So we can get to where we need to bore these test holes.
Yep.
You can see there's 3 prices. We'll start off with CME Associates at $8,865. The next one is Atlantic Testing Lab at $8,107. And the third one is L1 Palmer Consulting Engineers at $6,400. Again, Rick has recommended the L1 Palmer, the $6,400 bid.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to read this one, cause you sent, they're all spec to go 10 foot, nothing different
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
It's pretty simple.
yep. Motion,
I'll make the motion. to
Motion
go
by
with Allen
Gene.
and Palmer.
Yes, I'll second that.
second by Mike, any discussion?
But it's just remarkable that, you know, these two bids are very close, and then this one is quite a
Yeah.
bit different.
Just shows who's a little more hungry right now.
Yeah,
to
I
get
guess
back to
it
work.
is, but
Yeah.
like you're saying, just make sure that Rick has looked at this and that
Yes.
it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Following specs that the engineer or
I mean,
architect laid
I
out.
went out to his office on Friday afternoon, we spent a couple hours going through these, and he knows everything in these, obviously a lot better than I do, and he pointed out the different aspects and what was important is the number of borings and where they were sending them for tests and what kind of tests were gonna be done. He felt they were all equal, so he advised us to take the Allen Palmer. So I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No?
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, none. Okay, and that was, Allen Palmer. Okay, that's those two items. The next thing I have is what discussion on the excavator. You've got things that are labeled number 3 in front of you. I put a little spreadsheet together that I actually changed 2 or 3 times today as I did it because the prices and interest rates that we had did not hold, because the documents that we had on those that were good until the last day of March. So, I tried to talk to Joe. I talked to Joe Natale a bunch of times today. He's the Tracy Road Equipment guy. And he got back to me a couple times with the new numbers. Really the only thing that changed is that interest rate went to 4.5 and it was 3.04. So that makes me feel better about us not investing in those CDs yet, because
Interest rates are
they're
going.
supposed to be, according to whatever that board is that adjusts the interest rates, supposed to be 6 adjustments in this
Federal
year.
Reserve, yep.
What's that?
The Federal Reserve,
Yeah, Federal Reserve Board.
they're gonna raise it every time for 6
Yeah.
times, yep.
So consequently, this is the other end of those things changing, and that's moved to 4.5. We've talked about this. This will probably be the 3rd meeting that we've talked about this. One other thing that I wanna say is that, if we decide to buy either one of the Cobelcos, we have to put it out for bid, okay? I've got the bid specs right here for the pieces of equipment. And, if we decide to buy the Cat, we don't have to put it out for bid because it's on state contract. So I guess at this point, I'm open to discussion. Because Sean's not here, we can't accept his vote, or he can't vote. I specifically wrote that letter in regards to you.
Because I asked, yes.
That I think I passed on to you, didn't I?
You did,
That said that we can't do this virtually.
because we don't have the local law stating that we can vote remotely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought we looked into that a while ago when,
we did during the pandemic, and they lifted that law for then, when everybody went to virtual.
Okay.
But as of right now,
back to
our deal from Andy Silver was that
you have to be.
you have to do a local law.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, how much does that entail on our end to do that?
I'm not sure, that's a good question.
Just because, you know, we all do go on vacations and do things, and it would be nice to
Yeah,
feel like we're not missing our obligations.
and I can reach out to Andy and or both the Association of Towns and ask them what we have to do in order to do that.
Cause you think about it, during the pandemic, it was okay. As far as I know, nothing terrible happened. So it would stand to reason that, okay, it's like some other things that got tried and were okay and are being adopted.
Oh, no question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be worth looking into it, that's for sure.
You know, so we could spend a lot more time again right now discussing this thing and bringing up points that we've already probably brought up, unless somebody has something that's new that they wanna bring up. But I think the way we stand right now is that there's 2 of us here that would be in favor a purchase or a lease to own. And Sean is speaking up that he is too.
Yeah.
And there's two that are not. If anybody has a change of feeling about that, speak up now. I'm just trying to save us a little bit of time and a lot of talk. But I'm gonna add something to this. This is a discussion that we had today, and that is, one of the things that I've noticed about this is this machine has been downsized significantly from the original request. A year or maybe even 2 years ago was a bigger machine. And the numbers were
I pointed that out.
150,000 plus, weren't they?
It was, yeah, it was a better part of 200, I think it might have been like 165, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was too. So, and the reason that's happened is this is a smaller machine.
And I said that multiple times.
Yes, you did. And it even came to my mind a little bit more today when I was looking at the paperwork for the CAT 309, and it's actually called a mini excavator. Okay, I think these would all be categorized as a mini excavator, whereas originally we were looking at an excavator.
Okay.
That was not a mini, okay?
Right, okay.
And I don't know how that's classified. I gotta believe it's classified with size, tonnage, digging depth, all kinds of things like that. And I think you've got a mini excavator, right?
I've got a 10,000 pound machine. This, I believe, is like a 20,000 pound machine, so it digs deeper, it picks more.
Yeah.
It's not really what I would what I see as a mini excavator, because you do have to have a dump truck to move it.
Yeah. The one thing that I can say is that I'm not familiar with every job that the town of Alexandria has done with the rented excavator or with the great haul. I am familiar with a couple that I brought up at the last meeting, and one of them is the Carnegie Bay road that washed out where the sluice pipe was. And that was a good sized hole in the ground, and that was a big fix down there. And I don't know if this mini excavator would have been able to do that.
Were they, let me see, I saw the specs in here.
Yeah.
15-foot maximum digging depth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good sized hole.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's kinda where I'm at. You know, if there's 3 votes to purchase a,
Let me just ask a quick question here. These excavators, are these like what we've been renting?
I believe they are.
Yeah.
Are you sure? You're positive? Then why were we looking at purchasing one that was considerably more than that?
I don't have that answer.
I don't know, I just,
Good point.
Yeah.
I just don't wanna even consider something that would require us at some future date to have to go rent something.
I agree, that was brought up to me, earlier today, that, you know, we go ahead and purchase this machine, and then get into a job that's bigger than this machine can hold, and then we gotta go rent too? That wouldn't be good, you know? It makes me wanna say, before I commit to saying yes to buying this, that maybe we need to look at buying the bigger one.
We can ask Mike, but I did, and he assured me this machine was more than enough to do everything we need to do.
Yep, okay. Now, one of the big things, as far as this machine is, 2 times we've had to call MCI to come in and fix our water main break next to Route 26. And each time, those repairs cost us between $4,000 and $6,000. They were there for 4 to 7 hours of time, okay? They had to dig a hole in the ground to dig down to get to that water main. I was right there, I saw it. That hole in the ground was 8 to 10 feet deep. Obviously, by what you're saying, a 15-foot dig, you'd have to could have done it.
Yep.
There's another thing that we haven't talked about that we could save money with, except for I was right there and I watched the guy operating this excavator, and I watched what he did, and he was down there by a 10-inch main, and he was all around that 10-inch main, and he does this for a living. He's done it for 25 years, and he really was extremely knowledgeable. I know we have probably good operators here in the town of Alexandria, but that was really something to watch this guy do this. And, I mean, for instance, the hole filled up with water. This guy operated that thing fast, and he cupped the water out of that hole, and just, I mean, the thing was going like this. It was quite a procedure to watch this, you know. And I don't mean to say that we don't have people that can do that. I've spoke up before about Jamie's been operating one of these things for 25 years or more. You know, I've seen him on a smaller one, and he really knows what he's doing. And there probably are people at the highway barn that are similar.
I'm sure of it.
I don't know,
And I'm not sure why Kat said mini, but I just got a message from one of the guys, it's definitely not a mini.
Definitely what?
Not a mini.
It says it right on the...
I know it does, I saw it too, but it's not a mini. Or what we envision as a mini.
I was gonna say, I don't agree with the fact that it's not a mini if Cat calls it a mini. And here's the thing, we don't know what the definition of a mini is. Is it the tonnage, is it the digging depth, is it whatever?
Right.
You know, they wouldn't put it in letters on their prospectus, on their brochure. It must fit into a category.
Yeah.
So,
I guess the question I've got is, because of the time involved, if we're gonna buy one of these two, and it needs to go out to bid, we can't make the decision as you just brought up tonight, but we could start the bid process tonight, and then if it is decided to buy it, that will already be done. Cause what I just heard, it sounds like there's another step. If it was decided to buy this, then it has to be put out to bid.
I've got the bid specs right here, with number 3 written on them, and this is the process. We would have to put an announcement in the TI Sun, which we could do, that would come out on Wednesday, okay? Put an announcement in the TI Sun, give them whatever period of time it is to reply to the announcements, which I think you're gonna wanna give them a week or 2 weeks.
Why don't we put in the times as well? I think we would get a better chance of getting to bids
Yeah, we could.
than the TI, so.
Yep. And put it, and do that, and then we gotta give them a couple weeks, and then we take the bids.
So all I'm suggesting is get that process started now instead of waiting till the
Prolonging it
meeting.
more.
Yeah.
I mean, I myself would say that if Mike is okay and 100% fine with the cat, we can do the cat.
You can, but
Prefer the
only being,
Cabelco, I think.
I'm sorry?
You prefer the Cabelco.
he preferred the Cabelco.
Right.
Well, then,
Yeah,
And I think it was because it was immediately available and we wouldn't have to rent.
Yeah.
that's right, this cat isn't available, this cat is...
It's a couple of months out.
Yeah, so that's, no, yeah. So, if you all wanna put this thing out for bid, and we set a time and a deal on that, we can go ahead and do that. I'll get a hold of Craig Snow, and I'll get it in the paper for this week, and we'll get it in the Watertown Times also. And we'll do an opening at our meeting on the 20th.
That'll be 2 weeks after that, right?
You okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah,
Everybody okay with that?
absolutely.
So I need a motion to put this out to bid, and the bid specs will be available per our ad that's going in the paper here at the town office, or I'll put them online also, on the town website. So we'll have them available at the town office and online, and we'll put the announcement tomorrow, and we'll put the bid date for the 20th, like we usually do at a board meeting day at 4 o'clock.
As far as submitting, they submit them by 4, and then
Yes.
open them at the meeting at
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, we usually ask for them to be submitted by 4.
Yeah.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
Sean said he's okay with it, so we need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Gene to put this out to bid, according to these bid specs here, and have the bid opening on April 20th, no later than 4 o'clock for the bids to be submitted at the town office. Take a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Ronnie. Discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. Okay, that's where we stand there. New accounting software. Okay,
Number 4, right?
that's number 4. You read the letter that I sent to all of you that
Very nice letter.
Nicole wrote.
Very nice.
Yeah. If we were gonna decide to do this, I'm gonna ask one thing, and I'm gonna ask that if we do decide to do this, it would be pending. You got Phil Reed calling you.
We'll go to voicemail.
It'll just go away, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Sean?
Yep.
Okay. One thing I'm gonna ask is that, I get approval from Mike Lasan. I sent him an email asking him, and I didn't hear back from him, and then I sent him I left him a voice message about 2 hours ago. So he will get back to me, but I just wanna make sure we have his approval too, being our accountant, to do this. If we were to purchase this, we're not gonna purchase initially right now the water sewer module. Nicole feels it's too much, or it's too much at once for her to do. This is gonna be a pretty substantial learning experience. This is the same software, financial software package that the town of Alexandria had years ago, when Bill, from whatever that firm is, did our accounting.
Could we
We've been
transfer those
told, we've been
records?
told by the comptroller, we've been told by a couple people that have looked at our accounting, that the QuickBooks, program that we're using is not really municipal, accounting software. This stuff is definitely designed for municipal accounting software. Nicole and I have worked with the 2 owners of this company, who are the 2 people the 2 numbers that you call whenever you have any questions. We've been on conference calls with them multiple times, and we feel good about them. And the one other thing is they have a trainer that trains this program, and he happens to be extremely local.
Yeah.
And we happen to be doing business with him already.
He's a great guy.
And he's a super guy. If any of you guys have met him, his name is Bill Dashnaw. And he was here last week doing audits on the town clerk, and he was here 3 weeks ago and did an audit on the court clerks, on the bookkeeper, and on the supervisor. He's done these audits for us for 3 years now. He's a great guy, as Mike said.
I think he does like 9 or 10 towns
Yes,
in
he
St.
does.
Lawrence County.
He's been supervisor of 2 different towns. He's been highway superintendent of
For
the county.
For the county.
Of the county. He's got a tremendous amount of experience.
Yep.
And when towns have problems with their financial stuff going on, this is the guy they call. And he would be our trainer. And he spent 2 hours with Nicole and I the other day going over the program that he had on his laptop, showing us all the different parts to it. And it looks pretty basic and pretty generic to me. So, you have any other questions? You see the numbers here of what it would cost us? The yearly deal is what?
Annual fee of $1,050.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've looked at about 3 other software programs,
Yeah, the initial cost you
Sending us a
and they're
bunch of them.
unbelievably
Yeah,
expensive.
Like
I
over
think
20
we've had a
grand.
hard time finding one under 30 or 40 grand.
Yeah.
And we found 2 that are 80 and 90 grand.
Mhm.
But the initial cost between 10 and 12,000, right, something like that. That's
So this really, we'll be getting 2 modules for this, okay? We'll be getting the financial module that I'm gonna call,
This is
which
the
is
first one.
Enhanced Fund Accounting Suite,
Yeah.
which is the $4,700 package, which is all of the financials that we need. And the second module would be payroll. And, I looked at the payroll, there's all kinds of things I see here that are gonna save us time. And when they save us time with Nicole, they save us money. And for instance, Nicole puts in the vacation time and the comp time and the sick time and the personal time, every payroll period. And this program, he punched up the payroll and he showed us the 15 different items that you gotta input with the hours and everything, overtime hours and the 4 or 5 classifications we have for the highway department under which thing everything goes under. Well, it also has all of those benefits that I'm just talking about, okay? What Nicole does now is she does that separately. She does that on Excel, and she sends a paper copy with the paychecks to everybody every other pay period, once a month. The pay periods are 2 weeks. So she does that manually. I think you've probably seen those ones that she does. This is included in this. These guys will get this on their paycheck. It'll come on their paycheck stub.
Nice.
It's gonna show them exactly where they're at.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's real
Yeah.
nice.
I'm more excited myself about the water and sewer module that will be down the road after.
Well, they're saying it's $1,895, so
Yeah.
even that's not that bad.
No, it's not. And what I'm excited about with that is we now use UV Max. And we put everything in UV Max, and we get all the numbers from UV Max, and we have the late fees, and we have all this stuff on UV Max. Nicole has to take the payments, the input of all the data.
Manually.
She has to manually transfer all that to QuickBooks, to our financials. We spend this $1,895, she doesn't have to do any of that. It's integrated. It automatically goes
It takes it
where
from
we
UV
tell it to
Max
go.
and put it-
No, I think we ought to get it now.
Yeah.
And then when she's ready to get into it, I don't want her to think she's overwhelmed, but let's
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Get it all.
Spend the $1,895? Me
Yeah.
too. I'm 100%.
I'd say get the water and sewer right now while we're doing it, and then she doesn't have to learn that portion of it
Well, now the two is,
Right.
right now.
if
She
she's
can
able
play
to-
with it and then start
Right.
learning it at her own leisure.
yeah, if she can get to it,
Yeah.
all the better.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so everybody seems to feel good about this, so I'll take a motion.
I'll make the motion to buy the software pending Michael Hassan's approval,
Okay,
Including the water.
Including the water.
including the watering sewer module, yes.
Yep, okay, I would second that.
second by Mike, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, none. You hearing us okay, Sean?
I'm hearing you.
Fixtures on your transfer site bathroom, did anybody see the pictures I sent them?
I did.
Yeah.
My first question is, there's only one faucet on that sink, so we're only giving them cold water? If we're gonna do something up there, let's put in a small water heater and give them hot water to wash themselves with.
But that's the one you focused on, not.
Oh, I saw the
Give me
condition,
the Clorox?
I saw all of that.
That's what I focused on.
Okay, the other part to this is, we know where this transfer site is, we know what's all around it and what's next to it. I think we need to put a filtering, I think we need to have the water tested.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Send it out, have it
Let's
tested.
have Jamie Testel take the water, let's have the water tested, let's decide what we need to put for a filtering system
Yeah.
on this water.
Mhm.
Cause I'm telling you what, you don't even wanna walk in that bathroom the way it looks.
No.
It's awful, you know,
Well, that's just them not keeping it clean, a lot of that.
good point. Yeah, and we got a new employee up there, and I think you all already saw what we saw in relation to the new employee. And he's not busy, he likes to be doing
The
something.
bottom line, though, we should not be subjecting our employees to potentially bad water. That's just not,
No question.
that's just
No
wrong.
question.
That's just wrong.
So I'll take a motion to upgrade our bathroom, or, you know, this is something that we can just price out verbally, it's gonna be a low-cost deal. We won't go over any of our procurement numbers, that would make us, have to have written prices or bids. You know, our guys can replace the toilet, I agree with Gene, a sink, we'll put in a hot water heater, and we'll get the water tested and see what we need for a filter system.
Do you do those on-demand heaters?
Done a lot of them.
I mean, it won't require a tank.
No,
It's
just
like,
for a single sink, all you really need is a 110 on-demand hot water heater,
well,
done.
Yeah.
well,
So I'll take a motion to saying the things that I just said that we do up there, and we'll get moving on it, and most of the work, most of it will be in-house.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so take a motion to upgrade our bathroom with a toilet and a sink with hot water, and a hot water heater, and a filter system.
And starting with the testing.
Starting with
Test,
testing,
and then
starting
I'll
with
drive us
testing
to
the
the
water.
next steps.
Okay,
Yep, okay, I'll make that motion.
motion by Mike,
I'll second.
second by Gene. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. These next two items are things that I was pricing and working on last year, and technically I probably don't need to go there, but I just wanted everybody to talk about it briefly. I think we need to definitely finish the nice job we did over there at that playground with getting a fence around it. The fence, one of the fence company guys was in here today. What are the brothers' names? That do-
Eggleston's?
Yes.
Thanks, yeah.
One of them was in here today, and I talked to him about it, and he's gonna go get together with his brother, and he's gonna give us a price. And they've done some other fences for the town, and that's kinda the way I left it, so, was everybody okay with us doing that?
Yeah,
Yeah, as long as we
And
don't-
adhering to our policy, if need be, meaning procurement.
Right, that's the only concern.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys do a good
So I'll
job.
start the ball rolling and see where we're at. If we get over a number that we have to do something to satisfy our procurement, then we'll do that.
Right.
And I'll do the same thing with this pave and seal town office in the rink. And we did this last year, but the problem we had is the bids, the specs on the bids were fuzzy or not clear, what everybody was doing. And this is a tough thing to bid because each company that I talk to has a different way of sealing. They use different products to seal these lots. And some use a product that's heavier than another or whatever, so, we're gonna have to try to put together some specs. Hopefully without going to Rob Campney, that we can be satisfied, to have these guys bid on. You know, I had Greg Wills look at all this stuff.
cause it's gotta be all the same, so everybody's bidding the same thing.
Yeah,
Right.
I had Greg Wills look at all this, well, the other two bidders looked at everything too, and, Greg feels, and I do too, is that this area out front of here needs to be paved.
Well, there's a sinkhole over here that.
It looks like hell, and it's cracking apart, and it's coming apart, which he'd have to do some sub work to get it, you know,
Yeah.
back to being stable enough to put blacktop on. And this may be a long process, you know, this is April, so, I meant to get a hold of Greg today because I talked to him last year, and I got one of those deals from Greg that I'll try to fit you in, and I know he's busy, but we gotta get prices, so we'll just go that route.
Yeah.
Would associations of towns have specs? I mean, this has gotta be a common thing for all towns. And there's no sense reinventing the wheel and spending a bunch of money with an engineer to come up with specs that we can get for free.
It's worth asking. I can send them an email and ask her.
Cause like you say, all the companies have got their way of doing it.
Yeah,
And
they sure do,
there's nothing necessarily wrong,
but they're
but
all
it's not,
different.
it's apples and oranges and.
Sure is,
Yeah.
sure is. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll reach out to the Association of Towns and see what they have to say. Number 8, camera at the transfer site, talking with Bob, waste management people and all that, you know, we still haven't figured out a way to weigh this garbage, okay? And he's working on it, cause he's got another guy in another town that is convinced that he has to change to weighing his garbage. And the problem, Gene, we looked into this, the problem we have is that we gotta have a scale up there that you put your garbage bag on. And then we gotta have the scale connected to a printer or to a computer that kicks out a ticket that says your garbage bag weighed 8.6 pounds and you get charged X amount of dollars. And the ticket for the customer and a ticket for us, two-part deal. And the one thing that we ran into is that this transfer site operates in the winter. And every scale that Sandy and I found, which we did find 8 or 10 scales, every single one of them wouldn't operate below 5 degrees, 0 degrees, whatever. So that,
And they can't be out in the elements either.
so the next thing that tells you is the scale's gotta be inside,
Right.
where there's a temperature that it can be at. So so anybody that comes up there with their car or their truck, and that bag, those bags of garbage are gonna have to come out of that vehicle, gonna have to go into a building, which we could put a small little portable building right there, go into a building and be weighed, and then go through this process. So we didn't come up with anything, and we looked pretty hard, both Sadie and I did. And she came up with the stuff that she had, and I came up with the stuff that I had, and we all compared the papers, and there was just nothing that was gonna work. So, what I'm saying here, and if everybody remembers, this did work for us in 2014. And what the situation was, in 2014, we were unclear about what was going on or what we were getting at the dump. So we put a camera system in up there, okay? When we put the camera system in, I think everybody knows what happened. The numbers changed tremendously, okay? I've run into this in my own personal business. And so one of the things I'm talking about is just get Jay to weld this up a steel rod at the compactor, 6 feet up in the air, put a camera on that, and it'll show every bag of garbage that goes into that slot. And we'll know whether it's a $3 bag or it's a $6 bag. And all of it is proof to us or verification of that it's being handled the right way. You know, the camera deal to do that is probably gonna cost us, I'm gonna say less than $1,000.
It's hooked into the same deal.
All
as
the same deal.
the rest of
Everybody
the
can have it on their phone, it can be in the computers here.
I'm just
Everybody.
saying it's not a standalone, it's added on.
And the other thing that I think we should do up there, which is another few $100s, there should be a scanner, there should be a screen in the office. It's the same thing that I used to do at my store. You see it at a lot of places now. That when the public walks in, or the employee walks in and sees, every camera's got a square, every camera's on that screen. So that you know it's being seen, you know it's being recorded. And it keeps everybody honest.
Like you have in your office.
Like I have my office, but I had one at my store.
I know,
And it was right there for the public to see.
Okay.
And it goes
Behind
a
the
long way.
register.
It goes a long ways with preventing issues. Any thoughts?
That's kind of the way of the world these days,
It is the way
it
of the
seems
world.
like,
Yeah.
you know.
It doesn't change the fact that we pay for our garbage by the ton,
No.
and we collect by the bag.
Yeah.
That's how, and
No,
like
it doesn't-
I said,
it does address
but
that, you're
when
right.
it's 5 below 0, there's not a scale out there that's gonna
Yeah.
work.
The
And
only,
otherwise,
only thing that it does to me, okay, I'm speaking for myself, is that when a vehicle backs up there and they throw three $3 bags and 2 $6 bags in, it verifies to me that they're being charged.
Yeah, no, I get it, I'm all with that.
Yeah.
The only other thing would be the whole concept of getting cash out of the transfer site.
Yeah.
Which we've
That's
gone
another-
around in circles on that for a long time.
Sure have.
So to answer your question about the camera, if we can add that to the existing system,
Yes.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Yep.
I think we need to start talking again about getting cash out of the transfer
Yep.
system.
Yep.
Well, were we told by the comptroller's office
Yeah,
to do something about 5 years ago?
Yep.
Or more, maybe?
Yep.
yep.
Yep. I think.
And
I'm
Gene,
with
we've
Ron,
had,
it's probably
Gene, we've had
time.
hours of discussion about this. And we bounce around between getting our own custom bag that we sell up here.
Stickers.
And we try to sell them, we try to have some store people sell them for us that, you know, or we also talk about stickers that we use. One of the things that, since Dennis is gonna be up there, Donald's gonna be up there this year, one of the things that I wanted to start looking into and talking about with these guys is that we had a sticker system here, that there are 1,000 stickers in the back room someplace, and I just sang 1,000 stickers, there's a bunch of them. Which is another thing that we need to address here, and that is that we have people from out of the town of Alexandria that take their garbage to the town of Alexandria dump. Okay, and we looked into this a year or two ago, and one of the things that we found is that this is what really made us change the rates up there, along with some other things, is that the dump was losing $50,000 to $60,000 a year. In the most recent year before we changed the pricing, it lost $66,000. So you've got $66,000 loss that's being subsidized by 4,400 taxpayers in the town of Alexandria, and there's taxpayers from another township that are using it. So that's when we instituted, came up with the idea that we'll let the people from the other township use it, they're just gonna have to pay a fee, okay, to help us with this offset. So I think we had 20 or 22 people come, and we sell either a 6-month license for $50 or a 12-month license for $100. And we have people come, they fill out our paperwork, and they bring their garbage. That we figure that helps subsidize that loss. You know, since we changed the fees at the dump, we're very close to breaking even now. We're within $2,000 of breaking even, which we came from a $66,000 loss. And you all know from the paperwork that I just sent you from Bob Dickout, who was extremely gracious and coming to me and saying, Brent, I think we should change where we take our stuff. And we just did last week's, and just last week alone, we saved $453 in difference between the tipping fee we were paying and the tipping fee we did pay. So that means we're going to save, if you multiply that out, even though you deal with summer and you deal with winter, we're going to save $10,000 or $12,000. Just
So the cost up there includes the cost of the recycling. In other words, cardboard.
It includes the employee,
Right.
his benefits. We've tried really hard to make sure it includes everything up there.
Okay.
You know, the trucking of those recyclables. I mean, cardboard, we used to get paid for cardboard. We don't get paid anything for cardboard now. We just pay, what was that number? 400 and some odd.
400 and some odd,
A trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I just
Yeah.
want to be clear, yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at there. I gave you a long detailed thing, but there's this deal of weighing the garbage, because that's how we get charged. You see, so I'm looking at the money end of it, at the loss versus the gain, and we're close to being where we need to be to make that, you know, because I think the board agreed back then that we don't want to make money. We're not in the transfer side of the garbage business or the cardboard business to make money off our taxpayers. We'll be real happy if it's a break even or real close to break even.
All right.
Right.
All we want to do. When we were dealing with a $50,000 and $66,000 loss, that's absorbent. That's not good. Something needs to be changed.
I guess that gets distributed around taxpayers who are not paying any, they have other services.
Yeah, that was the point I meant to make earlier, is that, you know, if we got 1,000 taxpayers that are using that transfer site, that means we got 3,400 that aren't using it, that are subsidizing it. So,
Something to think about as far as like with like tickets or something that could be purchased up here and then handed to the person that's up there in lieu of cash, so there'd be no cash up there. And if we wanted to be able to compare what the camera says with the number of tickets,
yeah,
I'm just thinking some way to, because the idea of having custom bags that have got an imprint on them, and then we gotta store these bags, and people gotta have this bag to put their garbage in, that
I
just
think
seems.
tickets or stickers would be a much easier route on how you.
I think what you're referring to, those tickets, we have a pile of them
yeah.
back there.
So, and one of the things that kept coming up, Gene, that, and we've talked about this, the three of us here have talked about this quite a bit. So for Gene and Sean, one of the things that kept coming up is that how many people do we deal with for 3 months of the year here that they aren't here the rest of the time, and they're gonna come here for 4th of July, and they're gonna go to the transfer site on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they can't take cash, you know? Well, the town office isn't open. Well, then do we go to the Big M or the Walton Street Market, or do we go to them and do we get them to try to sell these bags or try to whatever else? There's a lot to that.
Yep.
I think the tickets would be a lot easier, because then, because if you stick something on a bag and then it goes into the garbage, we don't have a record of what he took in that day.
No.
But if you got 3 bags and you give them 3 $6 tickets, at least you've got a bag at the end of the day
Yeah.
that could be dropped off like happens now, but instead of cash, it's got tickets in.
Yeah.
And then if we could have some kind of phase-in period where they would take tickets and cash, so that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And then, you know, eventually, you know, it's like, okay, you know, you come, we just want you to know, we only take tickets, but we've got a grace period, and it's gonna, you know, you might do a grace period for a year.
Well, it's like the throughway, when they switched over.
Or do a grace period for one summer, so all of the people
Yeah.
that cycle in and out get to see
Right,
it, and
yeah, 'cause
then,
you wouldn't need to do it for a full year.
yep,
Yeah,
Yeah, enough people stop by kinda saying, you know, okay, if I have to get a ticket, where can I get this ticket?
Right.
You know, and you kinda, then you educate people over that period of time.
yep,
I think he had to get off the phone and he's gonna call back.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, we're talking about the cameras.
Yeah, okay, so I need a motion to go ahead and do
I'll
that.
make that motion.
Motion by
Draw
Mike.
this.
Second by Ron.
Yep,
Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, none. Okay, the last thing I have is, I think you all have a letter. With regret, I have to read the resignation letter for Gloria. I wish to terminate my position as town historian as of March 24th. I am too old to handle this job. Thank you for all you have done for me. I really appreciate it. If your new person needs help, please give me a call. So, I've had 2 people inquire about the job. One of them actually filled out an application, and both people would be good, but to be fair about this, I'd like to get the board's permission to put this in the paper, that we're looking for applications for this job. And I'll get it in the paper for this week, and we'll, decide what we're gonna do. Maybe we can decide by the 20th, and, should I put a deadline on, please contact the town by? Probably should.
probably
yeah.
next meeting.
Yeah,
That way we-
same deal.
Same deal as the other.
Yeah.
Yep,
Notice.
And one other thing is, I'd like permission from the board, I don't know the dollar amount, but I'd like permission from the board to have a nice plaque made up for Greta. She's been here, she's a piece of the woodwork, she's a
Very
great
nice.
lady.
Super nice.
Yeah.
Super.
And, I'd like to be able to do something for her unless somebody else has some other idea. We could also, get a cake and get a little writing on it and have her come here a certain day at a certain time and present her the plaque. I don't know, what's anybody got for thoughts? Well, I'm gonna have to get Shooky involved because Shooky was very close to her and Shooky was our
See what
cake.
she's comfortable with, yeah.
What's that?
Shooky would know what she's comfortable with.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
see what
Shooky-
Shooky thinks.
Shooky was our cake man, that was,
Well, no, but even better, Shooky would know what she's comfortable with.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She may not want some big,
So I just want the okay to go ahead and we'll do something for her, okay?
I'd like to make a motion to accept with regret the resignation of Greta Slate as our town historian.
Second it.
Second by Gene, any discussion? I'm just gonna add with tremendous amount of regret. She did a great job and she's a great person, so.
Yep.
I wish her well in her future, so. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. And I'll put the ad in there to do the replacement, that we're talking about.
my only thoughts on this particular topic is, I don't, does the village have an historian?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, if they do, we could kind of split it.
Shared service
Share,
combined.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do or not, I'm just asking that.
I mean, we actually have a nice office there too. When I spent enough time at the village office, I know there's no office down there for a historian.
But I'm just saying, if they do,
Yeah, yeah.
why not
I'll talk to
piggyback with them and they pick, you know, with us as well?
I'll talk to Steve Jarvis and ask him if he's interested, or if they're not, if they don't have one, if they'd be interested in sharing one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Just a general kind of thing, today we had our weekly water sewer meeting, and one of the topics that came, last board meeting, I don't know if it was maybe the actual one before we did the adjourned one, when Steve Jarvis was here, I asked the board's permission for us to go down to the village and have a conversation about our mutual concerns
Yeah.
about water. Everybody okay with that?
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay, I don't have anything else for regular session. I got a couple things for executive session, which I've advertised, discuss personnel. Anybody else have anything for regular session? No.
But
Okay, so we need to, have a motion to go into executive session. Motion by Ron, second by Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Right, we just need to specify the subject
To discuss personnel.
okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, none.
Okay.
I'll turn this off. And I'll go turn the other one off, just in case it's still running. See if that thing's still working, huh? You know, actually, now I think about it, Russ might have been able to fix that. Not me.
It looks like it's working.
Looks like it's running?
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I think about that, he was gonna try to do that.
It used 1.5 gigabytes out of the 30, and it was about a little less than an hour.